November, as we know, is the month of gratitude, so give thanks in a way that is manageable but meaningful for you and your family. My next guest has a daily gratitude challenge that she says can change your brain and your attitude in as little as 21 days. Communications professor Dr. Jennifer Cummings is joining me. Always great to see you.
Thanks, you too, Brooke.
So we know gratitude is good for us. In fact, I was just commenting during the commercial break, I think it was 20 years ago when Oprah introduced the gratitude journal, and we all got really excited, and it seems the topic has kind of fallen a little bit ho-hum, but refresh us, Jennifer, on the research. What can gratitude do for the brain and for our outlook?
Okay, so it is so research-backed about the benefits of it. It's amazing. And it's in all categories: physical, emotional, mental, relational. So it lowers your blood pressure. It gives you better immunity. It gives you better relationships. It lowers your stress. It lowers your risk for depression, anxiety, substance abuse. You sleep better. You are more patient. You have more self-control. There are a lot of benefits.
I mean, that is a huge list.
It's astounding.
That is astounding. That's the perfect word for it. You really consider, and I love exploring kind of the connection between mind, body, spirit, and you consider that connection and everything that can come out of just I don't say just, but expressing gratitude in a thoughtful way. I think we've all felt it too.
Yeah, I mean, it really changes the way you go through life, because your brain is wired to see problems, gaps, what's going wrong, so that it can fix them or address them. But then you kind of don't notice all the things going right, and all of the good things, the blessings, become sort of invisible. They're just like white noise. They don't stand out to you anymore. And then that gives your brain a distorted sense of how much good there is in your life, and that can set you up for a really pessimistic outlook.
So we've got to counteract that wiring, so to speak. You have a challenge for us. It's a 21-day challenge, but it's broken down into 3 steps. And I'm amazed at how, I said manageable, but how simple this is. It's easy for families with even little kids to take on.
It is. You can do this yourself, or you can do it with your family. You can also do it with your team at work. Everywhere it helps. So there are different varieties of doing this, but the research shows that 21 days of doing a gratitude practice can really actually rewire your brain to be a more optimistic person than pessimistic. So the first is that you write down, or you do something with 3 things you're grateful for every day. So writing them down in a gratitude journal is one, but you could also write them down and put them in a jar.
Love that.
Like this. I did this with my daughter at the peak of the pandemic, and she was a 2020 grad who lost out on all those special things.
They took the hardest hits.
So it was so hard. And this really was a lifesaver for us. Every day we'd write 3 things, and then at the end of that we sat down and read them, and it was really special to see what each other was thinking for that period. So you could also do it around the dinner table. Everybody give 3 things. You can do it as a bedtime ritual. You can do it on carpool. You can do it at the beginning of a team meeting, anything that you do. But the key was that the things have to be unique, so no repeats.
Okay.
It should be from the last 24 hours. This makes your brain scan all day long for things going right in your day, not just big picture, which those things are wonderful too, but like what this day has actually been a blessing.
I always try to push my kids to that point of specificity because, you know, to your point, you can go general, and there's nothing wrong with that, but the more specific you get, I think, the more it sticks with you, the more it stays with you.
Yeah. Exactly. When I have my students do this a lot, and I do it, but when I read what the things that they say, or they share them with me, is things like they're grateful that the mailman waves at their kids and makes their day, or they're grateful for somebody remembering to call them. Just little things make such a big difference.
And I love the idea of making it visual too.
Yeah, so this is another thing you could do. You can, a lot of people just pick a branch. This is my sister's, and it's fancier than I have. I would get a dead branch, but this is so pretty. But then you can just get these Dollar Tree leaves and put it underneath, or cut out your own, because I think this is too many to tape 3 onto a day, because you want to do it for a long time. But how pretty to have a pile underneath.
I love it. It's tactile, it's tangible for young kids. What's the next step of this challenge?
So other things you can do if you don't want to do the daily, you can do letter writing. So there are studies showing that 1 or 2 times a week, you pause and you send a letter to somebody, write a letter or a note. You can also do an email. There's an email version or text where every day you just send a note to 21 people for 21 days, different people, telling them what you're grateful for about them. And what a great way, then the gratitude doesn't just stay with you, but you send it out and you make their day. And the surprise thing is often what you get back from them. They express gratitude back to you.
I've been on the receiving end of one of these. I don't know if it was part of a challenge or what, but it really is touching and moving, and it does fuel gratitude forward, so to speak. I felt it and wanted to send it back into the world.
Yes, it does. And one student that told me she was in such a depression when she started it, and it reminded her she has a lot of people in her life who care about her.
Yes. 1 minute left. There's another step. Oh, that was writing the notes.
Yes,
Thank you.
writing the notes,
Texting, you
right.
say, is also an option. Just
Yeah,
to
and
shoot a
texting
text.
is also an option.
Yeah.
But what you really get out of this is that rewiring your brain so that it changes the way you live. It changes the way you go through life. And the year after my daughter graduated and we went through that hard time, my mom passed away. And the last few months were really rough. But I noticed that this had trained me to look for the good, even in the worst of times. And that became not just a tough, hard, emotional experience, but really a treasure. I just tried to treasure every minute with her and soak up all the lessons and time with her. So it changes your heart and it changes the way you go through life, even in hard times.
Thank you for sharing that example, and thank you for putting it out there that the rest of us can grab onto in a way that works for our families. We appreciate it, Jennifer.
Thank
Thanks.
you.